same thing. They're trying to do the white supremacy here. They try to bring white guys here and to take the supremacy over Arabs, which are the local citizens, which are so far they're only the Ethiopian Jews. Now, another question is why? Why America needs Israel? There is no oil like in other Middle Eastern countries. There's nothing to. But why do they do all these things? Why do they invest money, bring white people and so on, when they build their system of white supremacy just like Israel? Why? And I can tell you why. Because the true Jews, according to the Bible, you can check it in the Bible, you can 30 and some other places, they have never been white. They have people of color. And they have not stopped in Ethiopia. They were in Ethiopia, Sudan, and they have settled in West Africa. But they have been taken as slaves to America. Brothers and sisters, blacks of America, it's you. You are the true Hebrews from the Bible. America gonna do everything, gonna invest as much money as it has, and gonna fight as much wars as they can, gonna invite as much weapons just to hide this away from you. Gonna take Israel, gonna bring white people here, and to tell you these are the Jews. Gonna kill you, gonna kill Arabs, mistreat white people like this guy, just to tell this lie that you are nobody and we are the Jews with all the and so on. It has been deleted your history. You don't know who you are. Don't forget about it. This is why America has been taking your history away, never to find it. It's all about you. I'm telling you this, please. I don't ask you to come to Israel. I'm just asking you to start thinking this way, to believe me a little bit, because I'm living in Israel and I'm part of this injustice. I really believe that people like me and you, we can bring the justice back. Thank you.
But who else are the real Shemites? There are other anti-Zionist, non-Ashkenazi, Torah-keeping Jews worldwide that are the true Shemites, just like the Yemenite Jews and the black African Shemites. I most probably shouldn't go here, but I will anyway. You see, after the destruction of the temple, yes, the Jews, the poor Jews, remained in the land, but there was a migration as well of the more affluent Jews to Yemen and to other parts of Africa. You see, the black African Shemites then taken away in slave ships. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And who were the own slave ships? Who were the biggest slavers in the 16th century? The Ashkenazi were the biggest in the 16th and 17th century, going into the 18th century. You see, Ashkenazi slaving was huge. This is from, I have to be careful when I say this, so my sources, it's always best to go with Jewish sources, right? Because you just try, so we'll go with the Jewish sources. There's a ton of sources out there, like the Jewish ones, because that's just safer. The Jewish scholar Jonathan Shorshak says this: Jewish merchants routinely possessed enormous numbers of slaves temporarily before selling them off. If a slave auction fell on a Jewish festival, it was postponed due to lack of buyers. And the Jews of Suriname gave their slave plantations Hebrew names such as Machanayim, Nachamu, and Goshen. Rabbi Herbert Bloom adds that the slave trade was one of the most important Jewish activities. In 1694, Jews owned 9,000 African Shemites. Jewish slaving is in fact confirmed by the Jewish Encyclopedia. In the days that we live, there's nothing more important than this Melchizedek message to the true Shemites. Because this Melchizedek message of the true Shemites is the solution. It is the solution to the Palestinian problem. It is the solution to the black matter that is being fomented by the synagogue of Satan. It is the solution to racial tensions, segregation, that is all part of the synagogue of Satan's plot. Yahweh's people to fight amongst themselves based upon the color of our skin. That is ridiculous, but that is what that we keep our minds off of them as the true slave of Yahweh's people. When we all realize behind this racial and political fermentation, the synagogue of Satan, and when we join the priesthood together as Joseph's coat, we're victorious. Then we're victorious over the New World Order slavers, their Luciferic, Levitical perversion. You see, they're obsessed with blood. They're obsessed with their blood, and they're obsessed with your blood, but they're not obsessed with Yahushua's blood.
And I'd like to now bring up another interesting place that you find descendants of the Israelites, but may not necessarily be from the 10 tribes, but will also play a role, and shouldn't be overlooked. It's a very serious scenario. It's Africa. Africa has perhaps hundreds of millions of people with this identity right now, of being from the people of Israel. Does that mean they were from the 10 tribes? Likely not. We were taught by the historians and within our traditions that when the Romans conquered Judea, a few hundred years after the tribes of Israel went to exile, perhaps millions of Judeans were sold into slavery. Into Africa, to Rome, deep into Africa. And if you look now, you're seeing people who are most likely the descendants of those slaves who kept true. I'd like to bring up a few specific examples, so they're going to be game changers. One of them wrote letters to Israel when it became a state. And they said, we're Israelites out in Africa. Left them and they said, African Israelites, these people are just trying to jump on the first world country bandwagon. They're living in a third world country, they got nothing. We're coming to Israel, we got innovation, technology. So they're trying to get on this train because there's such a thing called the right of return. All descendants of the Jewish people from around the world were able to move to Israel. So they said we are also. And everyone kind of laughed at them, like I said. And people took it serious and went out there and started studying them, learned about their culture. And a professor from Duke University went out there and did DNA testing on them. And he showed not only did they share Semitic gene people who were in Yemen, back to the Middle East, these gentlemen, a large percent of them, have the Y chromosome to be Kohanim, to be priests. Now, if anyone who doesn't know, a priest is a specific family clan of the nation of Israel who come from Aaron, the brother of Moses, who was the first priest. And anyone descended from Aaron has the status title priest. And we found that these men in this village in South Africa called Lemba, L-E-M-B-A, carry this genetic marker to let us know that they share the same as in the Ashkenaz, and the population of the people in Israel today, they share the same exact DNA marker. It's mind-blowing. So everyone kind of got humbled a little bit, who laughed at them and said, now what? Now what do we do about this? This could have tremendous implications. Another area in Africa you have something big happening is in Nigeria. You have the Igbo people, or Igbo, pronounced either way. There's 40 million of them, also Christians, like I spoke about before, how that could happen for the children of Israel very easily. But also a lot of them are now coming out and converting back or adopting the rules without all the paganism that they've been practicing for hundreds of years. There's been books written about it from scholars in Nigeria, from from scholars from the Jewish people. And where it gets interesting is, in America, there was a slave trade. And a lot of the slaves, a very high percentage of them, came from Western Nigerian ports. And in America today, you see a very large movement of African Americans who say that they're the real chosen people, that they're the children of Israel, they're the Judeans. You know, so what are they just trying to create an identity for themselves because they were slaves, or is there really something here? And the answer is most likely there is something there. And most likely, maybe that they were the original Israelites, and maybe that the Jewish people today, who are white, Caucasian people, came in a little bit later on. We know that some of the greatest sages of the transmission of the Torah were converts from Rome. You have a man named Onkelos who wrote a commentary on the Torah, unprecedented, that we still learn today. He was a convert. Some of the largest pillars on the transmission today were Roman converts. So here we are, we're Caucasian Jewish people, and now you have people in Africa saying that they're the people of Israel. It can't be ruled out at all. We know they were sold into slavery. We know now that they're fulfilling prophecies by saying, we're coming back.
See, you won't see the kingdom. Because if it's a black man leading you to the kingdom, what are you going to say? Call 911. Some Negro down here claiming to be Jesus.
And you just got to show it to them first. So Barbados was the number one. Write this down. Was a number one area where the slave. That he's going to bring back all cultures. So write this down. The next answer is, of the 12 tribes of Israel, how many are black? 8. 8 of the 12 tribes. So 2/3 of the tribes are black. So isn't it interesting? I asked them, how is it that if 2/3 of all of the 12 are black, when I ask you about any of the people, you say they're white? Aha. Going back to, now walk with me, the third curse, again, that you would what? Forget your roots, read it to me, and what? And where you came from. That is what you have to begin to base it. And when people see it, and people understand this, you will be able to reach into their life and bring them into the Torah in a heartbeat. Because once people, especially in Barbados, in Bermuda, in Jamaica, and the Caribbean, which are advanced people than American people are, because they're already in kingdoms. And the Torah is based on a kingdom. So they grab this, people, and they run with it in a heartbeat. You just got to show it to them first. So Barbados was the number one, write this down, was a number one area where the slave ships did the distribution of the slaves since they left West Africa, the coast of West Africa. Now everybody came in on different kind of ships. And everybody, some died. May I remind you, if you're German, you came the same way. During the Bolshevik Revolution in the late 1800s, early 1900s, you may have not been chained up, but you might as well been. Because you were trying to flee the Bolshevik Revolution in the late 1800s and early 1900s, and they were throwing pitchforks trying to defend themselves, and they got to this country because Catherine the Great.
40,500. From the tribe of Manasseh, those who were numbered of the tribe of Manasseh were 32,200.
Amen. So, now let's move on.
Both
See,
David
no, you got to stop there. Karen, they're about to go into shock right now. Be careful now, okay? Okay. All right. Can I just, if you have a napkin, can you wipe your forehead? Because we're going to go deeper. You may not want to handle it right now. All right, I disclose right now on television right now that the next part may be dangerous to your health. Praise God as we go forward.